Hello there and welcome back. Today we talk about this very simple setup that is super powerful to create interesting and beautiful soundscape. So what you are hearing right now, it's Op1 playing a piano sample in one of my new favorite feature. It's a sequencer called Hold. It's the most simplest thing. It's basically you press a note and that note is just hold, but the trick here is that you are using a sampler with a loop point, and so you can move the loop point and you can create this evolving soundscape. And this is a technique that I really like and enjoying lately for creating samples. So that said, that's not the only things that are happening here. Of course, I just got my new Generation Loss, the Mark II, and it's pretty awesome. And I'm using also the Vongon Ultrasheer at the end of the chain to create some ambience. So before going on and talking about what's happening, as usual, some way you can support the channel. You can subscribe and share this content completely free. You can become a Patreon, and this week I will publish a video about creating something with this setup. So we will just start from scratch and record something on the tapes and try different tapes and see where we go. As usual, all live. And then you can buy from the affiliate link where I get a little kickoff. And of course, all of these three things are really helping me going on with my endeavor. So let's go back to it. So the first thing, of course, is just how cool the Generation Loss is. This is not going to be the full demo of it because I got it yesterday. And in the meantime, let me add some new notes so these things evolve. And we will go just quickly through what I like and the use I'm planning to have for it. And while of course this is already give me an interesting, of course, crunch tone with all of his modes and features, I'm adding the Vongon because I think a reverb at the end of the chain managed to make the sound more cohesive, less harsh, because this can be a little harsher if you really overuse the destroying kind of feature that it has. And also I like to use the vibrato on the Ultrasheer to add another level of warbliness. So it's, you know, it's tape degradation Wonderland. Let's hear it out, huh? So, as you can hear, nothing super special, right? Even though I have to say that this sequencer, for as simple as it is, it's brilliant. Because the sample is playing at different speed, each loop point is going to be different, creating a different alternation of start and stop. Besides that, you can also play a little with attack. Of course, now I press what I shouldn't have pressed. I also remove a little tiny bit of attack, so it's a little more there. We can add some reverb, just a tiny bit. And then here you can decide how long the loop is gonna be. Sometimes I like to also cut here. So it's very low in volume, but because then it gets pushed here. Stereo out, stereo in. This is the first. It is the first. Yes, I think one of the first stereo pedal coming from Chase Bliss, except the CXM 1978, and it's great because it can be used on a chain, on a master bus. So you have many control. It's also work as a basic generation loss, the old one. And now it's working as a stereo spread Mark II. So you have a lot of stuff. I want you to listen about it, something. This is, we are listening now only the wet signal. You have the whoa. Now I remove the mode, so I have not in any tape simulation. This is the whoa. This is the flutter. Then you have a failure circuit that had all the like clicks, pops, drops. Hear it? Saturate, that is linked to the different kind of modality. In this case, it's just a saturation because now I'm not using any tape model. Then you have a aux that had filtering or had a stop. Whenever you press it, you can decide how fast intervene and failed, adding more failure. The dry allow you to hear the dry signal, a small quantity or unity. Let's put a small, I like, have some parallel sort of affecting. And then noise, add two different known, mild and heavy. You can decide how much this thing sounds. It's cool, let's hear it. So if I double press these two, now these are the secondary function. And for example, these decide the hiss, these decide the mechanical noise, two different flavor. That probably changed by mode, I don't know about that. And then the failure, that it's how the click and pops and failure add. And so let's see it a little hiss. Some of these, but just a tiny bit. That's it. And then with noise, you decide how much. Then you have a lot of more control in the back. Maybe we'll do a bigger demo later on. So let's put back our sound. And now let's go through the different modes it has. Oh, let's remove this. So the firsts are VCR. Then you have some cassette, some tape reel. This is, I guess, is a Porta cassette, the one that sounds worst. Worst mean like more destroyed, baked, whatever. And then the last few, there's some modality that has been designed by, I remember two of them, Amulet and Blank 4MS, and another guy, let me find it on the beautiful, by the way, the new manuals of Chase Bliss and all the graphic part is really unbelievable. Great job, guys. Marcus Fischer is the designer of the MPEGs. So here you have all the models that are there. So you have a lot of, I find myself using a lot the no mode because it's the more natural. But yeah, I like it. I don't like when it's too much like that. And probably the only things that I feel it's a little complicated in this pedal so far is moving through models, because you don't really know, you don't have any visual confirmation of what happened, and there's many in just a small space, and this is not clicking, so it's very hard for me to know which mode is which. I wish maybe with a light, I don't know if they can do anything about that, and maybe they will add stuff, because I know them, they want to, they upgrade their stuff with amazing things, so this is the only thing. I would love to be easier to know which mode I am. Anyway, that said, Why I added the Ultrasheer? Because of this here. I feel that if you want to have a performative setup where you play sample and then you can move and play with effects, this is the nicest thing, having a Generation Loss, a Vongon. So sorry, I was lost into what I'm doing. That's good when you just play and you're supposed to talk, but instead you go on with what's happening. It's very beautiful, and I feel that having a Vongon behind, I was saying, is great because you can smash all the sound, create all of the soundscape, this pad, and then you can go back. Or also you can deactivate this, turn it on again, and start over. So that's a way I like to perform with this thing. The other way, it's having some tape prepared. So I have few things that I created, and then I want you to list them. So the techniques that I use are the one that I explained before on my channel. And so I recorded things. I think here I change the tempo. Yeah, I did. It's 100. Here it is. And so let's turn off that. Let's turn off everything. And let's play some tape. So this is something I record, and like I recorded full speed, then I slow it down. All of these techniques are in my Patreon if you are curious. Now the sun decided to come in, and it's gonna be very bright. Here it is. Nice. As you can hear, different modes allows you for different vibes. For this one, for example, I like this mode where the low end is cut. I don't know what mode it is. We can try to figure it out. It's probably 4 or 5. So it would be a Portamax, RT cassette, or HT. It was at the number 4. This is the Cam 8 Dictatron, that had a small cassette. This is 10. Is a Walkman made by Blank 4MS, of course. Beautiful. Let's hear another composition. This one is designed by Amulet. Or Fisher. It's very hard to distinguish to the last few one. Pardon me if it's not what it is. So this is another way I like to create tape loops. It reminds some of like degradation tapes from Basinski kind of vibe, and then you can play on top. And when you want to move between them, you cannot go in a long decay and then move to another point of the tape, filtering out, and then start. And here, how you can progress through a full set. I did also an experiment using the different mode here, the one that use a Portastudio, so it's already crunchy, and then add more crunchiness. Let's see, let's do the same thing. Let's add a lot of decay, and then now we're gonna shift tape, go to Porta 4 track and load this one, and now I will play it. And then I will introduce it. Yeah, so I want to keep this video under 20 minutes. So why I think this is a Soundscape Wonderland? For the reason I said, you have a sample player, it can be the OP1, it can be the SP404 for example, and you have something that create mood, something that brings you something. Generation Loss is great for that, and you know, it's a risky business because it sounds so good that I'm afraid always to overuse it, but you know, it has its functionality in this kind of music. And then you have a beautiful reverb that can create ambience. It can help you again to bring you somewhere, and then helps you with transition. Oh, I killed the trails. And then you can close like that and you know, have fun. But I feel that OP1 used like that as a live instrument when you prepare a few projects, and it's great because you can move between tapes very fast, seamlessly actually. It allows you to have a sort of loops, tape loops, whatever, and move through them and then play with the pedals. I would probably had, maybe could be interesting having the habit or the mood. I don't know if maybe a mood before and a habit at the end, because with the mood you can create more granular kind of soundscape, then work with these two and then record everything in habit and have this final 3 minutes composition. That can be very interesting. Anyway, I might come with a fully dedicated demo of this one in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned. If you want to know more about recording stuff, again, check my Patreon and be awesome and become a subscriber. All right, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.